Here. Mr. Vaca.
Present.
Mr. Malinowski.
Here.
Ms. Dice.
Here.
Mr. Antonacci said he would be absent. Chief Carlson. Mr. Kranebucker. Mr. Radikovich.
You all received a copy of the minutes from the meeting 1/2 of 2024 in the order of the wish of the council.
Make a motion we approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. We have public comment. Jerry Lewis?
Yes, can you please move the podium? I want to speak from my chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, appreciate it. There's a few things I'd like to bring up. December 20th, meeting minutes. Ms. Lewis argued council was ignoring state law. I did not argue. I'd like some corrections on this. I brought up this before about the meeting minutes being incorrect. Then Ms. Lewis threatened. Do you know the definition of threatened? And I did not threaten this council. Did I, Solicitor Dice? We merely had a discussion about this. And another thing is, claimed an objection can be raised anytime during a council meeting. Come on, oath breakers and law breakers. Let's have a better year this year. That's, you know, you have duties, we have rights. I'm asking you to please quit cherry picking our rights when it comes to public comments and when it comes to council meetings, meeting minutes. Another thing I want to bring up is you, for the meetings, the calendar, the work session, your resolution for that, you have to change the resolution to have work schedules because Mr. Hartman back in January the 15th of 2020 decided he didn't want work sessions anymore. So now you're in violation of the resolution. And also, you're in violation of the ordinance because in your ordinance from 1984, you have in there that you have council meetings at 7 p.m. You went ahead and changed them to 6:30 at December 20th meeting, and aren't ordinances supposed to be changed legally? Not arbitrarily and capriciously and just cherry pick what you all want to do. So now this meeting is an unscheduled meeting because you're starting it at 6:30 instead of 7 because you didn't change the ordinance.
Jerry, that was your 3 minutes.
And if you do that to me one more time,
Jerry,
Solicitor Dice, it is not your job, and if you want court cases for
When I
what
asked
you're
my
doing,
president of council to
no,
monitor the
that is
time,
not your
I'm
job,
gonna do that.
Solicitor Dice, you cannot do it. If you do it to me, you've been harassing me ever
I'm not
since you
harassing you.
became solicitor about this 3 minutes and this timing, when everybody else has been extended time. Mrs. Kerber got all the time she wanted to talk about an ordinance and everything, but when it comes to me, it's 3 minutes. When it comes to meeting minutes, and I raised an objection, and also, residents voted on that objection, and it wasn't put in the council meeting minutes. So why am I being singled out?
Jerry, I set the timer for every person, just like, and Mr. Gockel.
Oh,
asked
that's
me to
funny,
do it.
for Mrs. Kerber, it wasn't any, when
I
they
set
were
the
talking
timer
about the
for
bus and
every
everything.
person that comes up there.
Yeah, well, it's not your job. Talk to Simon, he'll tell you, and you know who I'm talking about when I talk about Simon. One more time. No, there isn't any more time. All I have to do is tell this council once, bring it to your attention if you don't correct, as you say, cured violations, then I can go ahead.
And again, I think by Mr. Gockel telling me to set it for 3 minutes, I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay, we'll see.
Okay.
Mayor's report?
Thank you, Mr. President. My report is very short tonight. The police activity report is attached with over 132 total reports for the month of December. I do have an update to number 2. I have 1 docketed case. It's actually 6 docketed cases, 1 criminal, 4 non-traffic, and 2 traffic. That's all I have.
Thank you. The solicitor's report?
Nothing at this time.
Engineer's report? Zoning officer's report? The borough manager's report?
Have nothing at this time.
Okay, we've all received a copy of the treasurer's report. What are the wishes of council?
I'll make a motion to accept it as submitted.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. You all received a copy of the tax collector's report. What are the wishes of council?
I'll make the motion to accept it as submitted.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Committee reports, buildings and properties. Dave? Dave's not here. Chuck, anything?
No.
Community betterment and parks and rec.
I have nothing.
Personnel and finance.
Nothing at this time.
Community outreach and communication.
Mr. President, the only thing I'd like to communicate at this time is, we've been in contact with Manor Borough regarding a junior government program.
Speak up, Dawn, please, we can't hear you, thank you.
I said, we have been in contact with another borough that has a junior government program already started, and we've been invited to go to their meeting to just observe, no talking or anything, just observe. And then we're gonna have a meeting with the other committee member.
I do want to piggyback on that. I did some research because I know that you were looking into possibly doing a junior government council member. In other municipalities, oftentimes they do it from the school district. Because you have 2 school districts, you might want to have 2 members. Keep that in mind. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Other than that, as of right now, no other.
Okay. Planning and zoning.
Here's something. The zoning ordinance update,
planning commission expects to try to wrap up the last small group of requirements for some of the districts. Should be done, the intent is to try to get it done in February. Regardless, our intent is within maybe a week or so after the February meeting to put you together a draft of all those changes. There's not a lot of changes. Realistically, the Planning Commission looked at this very simply. Less restrictive, pretty much, though in control with predominantly all other zonings in the state. And so far from what I've seen of everything that's gone through, there's really nothing hurting them, just like the map was. So by sending that out to you early, the hope of the chairman is to give you this document, give you time to read it, get very familiar with it, and then if in our March meeting anything changes, or if there's anything we didn't finalize, we will do that in March and update you as soon as our meeting is over on those changes, but we won't ask you to spend a short period of time reviewing a lot of pages, so we'll get it to you.
Mr. Sherry, can I ask, was there a meeting Monday night?
No.
No, okay. I did try to call the chairman just to double check it. So I didn't know, because he didn't get the answers, so.
I saw the email he put out. He put an email out to everyone on Monday afternoon.
Okay. I'll have to relook, but I didn't
Okay.
read it. But thank you.
Was an issue about our start dates. Apparently they weren't advertised, and at 6:30. So that's gonna be an issue, and I'm assuming if that hasn't been done yet, will that be done very soon?
That was corrected.
Put back out?
Yeah, it should have been in yesterday's paper.
Okay.
It was, I saw it.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
Okay. Public safety and public works?
Nothing at this time.
All right, old business. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on report from Borough Engineer on the police, public works, building settlement, and step cracking. So Ed had a bit of emergency today, so he can't be here. I was kind of hoping that he would, talk to us a little bit about this. But what are the wishes of council?
I'd like to extend that conversation a little bit before we go to any motions.
Can we take?
There's always a point in development or construction that the soft costs become so absorbent, they cause the project not to meet any kind of budget. So you end up not being able to do it because you spend so much time and money trying to figure out if the plan will actually work. In this case, I don't know what we spent in surveying the points along the building, but I'm assuming at this point it's been somewhat expensive. It's going to be because every time he goes out, it's got to be 4 hours by the time he sets up, gets it in there. Unless he is able to use his GPS, pop chute would be gone. It's got to be a significant amount of time. And there's been money spent on the building. So with all that, I think maybe as a council, we should look more along the idea. We had a committee that was supposed to be about that building. And that committee has fallen along its wayside because nothing has been rescheduled. So we're not able to do any homework in advance for you, to come in here and give it to you and say, if you're looking at doing something in the police department, here's been your expenses, and here's what expected to spend. Let me say this to you. The most important thing is, if you think you want to keep that police department where it is, there's one simple thing you have to do to end this. And that is that get your estimates in, put a pylon in there, case on, in the ground, support the corner of the building, and you're done. But for an eighth of an inch, no one's gonna tell you you can spend that money. So you just have to decide if you wanna keep them there and just pretty much move on. Because there's nothing there that the side of that building is gonna fall over, fall in, or go anywhere. So if you do anything, I suggest you work off of motions to continue this research, because you're planning on keeping them there. But if you have any reason in the next 5 years to move the police department, I'd really give it a lot of consideration the direction we're going. Thank you.
So, what are the wishes of council?
I'm in favor of tabling it until we can talk to Ed.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yes, you do.
Any comments or any further questions, further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on report from borough engineer on feasibility of upgrades to existing Manor Park restaurant.
You don't mind, the same thing I just said about the building, same way with the restroom, and I'll make that motion to table.
Second. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on accepting the letter of retirement from the administrative assistant. What are the wishes of council?
I will begrudgingly make the motion to accept the letter.
Mr. President, I think that should be discussed in, back chambers.
Executive
Back
session.
chamber.
Yes,
An executive session?
yes.
Okay. Then we'll, is there a second to that motion? Hold on. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
So now that you have a motion and a second, you have a discussion, you can have a discussion about why you might not have it in back chambers or not, but you have to deal with the motion. So either somebody can amend the motion if you wanna do something different after your discussion, but you have to address, because you have a motion and a second.
Can the motion be withdrawn?
The motion can be withdrawn if you so choose, so let me misled.
When we've accepted resignations from other, public works, police department and so forth, we've always had it out here. And then their letter, which was submitted to us prior, we should have read and been done.
That's right.
So I don't wish to cancel my motion.
So comments?
Mr. President, if I can ask our solicitor a question. When a council has a document in front of them and they move to accept that document, is it not true that all the content in that document is considered accepted?
Well, the motion, what you're accepting here is that it says accepting a letter of retirement, so everything in here would be, yes, you're correct. When it says letter, so her letter, if you want to accept that, is everything in her letter.
Thank you. And my point to that should truly be discussed in an executive session. If you read the letter, you'll know exactly what. let me ask this, regardless of how it would go now, we can still readdress this in executive session, am I correct?
You can still accept her letter of retirement, and if you believe that you wanna, if there's something that you don't believe you need to pay her, or you wanna negotiate some other, matter with her, yes, you can deal with that. However, if you're asking me, are we accepting exactly what the number of hours she calculated for something, then by accepting this, you're accepting the entire letter.
Yes.
And that includes that language in there.
So my point to that is, this is an employment issue. Employment issues should go through the personnel committee. And, we didn't hear anything for this motion that it went through the personnel committee, because.
It did.
It did?
Yeah, the personnel committee actually met last week. Correct. And discussed.
Then let me ask this, and I'm trying to be very careful what I say because of the need of the executive session. Was calculations of the letter outside of the date of the request for the retirement, calculated out to determine if any of it was done in error?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
Are you asking that these hours are correct?
Yes. And we have supporting documents over the term of employment to sustain. Thank you. My S's sometimes get caught between the other hooks. And we have a document, including minutes when accepted, that has put all of that in play, that it still holds today. Let me ask you a simple question. How long was the term of employment? When did it start?
Roughly 10 years ago.
Well, maybe, Joe, did you verify the hours that are set forth in the letter?
I mean, they're off payroll records,
Okay.
but,
So
you know,
use
we don't,
payroll.
payroll records weren't retained for,
The entire length of
yeah,
her
they're
stay here.
retained for like 7 years.
Saying exactly
Okay.
those hours.
Okay, so we're using a payroll company.
Right.
The payroll company should be calculating that. I use a payroll company. They keep track of all that.
But they don't keep, if you have somebody working for you multiple years, they don't keep 20 years worth of payroll records for your employees.
Yeah, but we would.
We don't. The
How many
retention-
how many total, if they keep, if they're kept 7
We have
years?
7 years, that's the retention schedule.
Okay. Then how long was the employment? 8 years? 9 years? 10
It
years?
was 10
10 years if you.
plus, a little bit through a temp agency originally.
Excuse me, Mr. President. I'd like to be able to amend saying that like the hours that we accept everything else from her letter of resignation.
So,
Can I ask you what I think you said? Are you saying accept her resignation only to the date? And everything else in the letter we'll discuss in executive session?
No, what she's saying is she'll amend her till we can verify the exact hours. So if.
Does that give us that ability after this vote?
yes, that would give you, the motion is that you accept her, her retirement, but to verify the hours of what she's owed, for whether it's sick days, vacation days, pension, anything that she's owed financially, that will protect you, and we'll recalculate it, not with what's said in her letter, but it will actually verify and substantiate the number of hours.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
And now,
So
Jim,
you-
do you second that?
Yes, yes.
Any further comments or questions? Just a roll call vote.
You don't have to, but you might want to, just in case,
Okay.
because there's a lot of discussion about it.
And again.
Roll call this.
Mr. Goffel?
Yes.
Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr. Dornan?
Yes.
Mr. Gonwer?
Yes.
Mr. Nemitz?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on advertising and accepting resumes for the administrative assistant position.
I will make a motion.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
Any comments or questions?
Yes.
Okay.
The, term, the letter in here states about a full-time position. We don't see anything in here or have any supporting document here that says, what are we paying them? What are we giving them in, benefits other than the term full benefits?
That hasn't been decided.
Right, exactly. So if we're at.
This is a job posting only to advertise to accept resumes, letters of interest, and references.
So when the personnel committee met, we figured that this is something the money and stuff will be able to talk about in executive session. So that's why there's no money put on.
So again, if we vote to put it out, and accepting letters of interest or resumes, because it says resumes,
Well, you must like your
I
tax
would
bills.
prefer resume.
are we gonna get them without telling people how much?
I mean, I've seen weirder things.
And we are gonna discuss it more in executive session? Okay. Thank you.
So, okay, we have a motion and a second, right? Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on soliciting bids for municipal waste services. What are the wishes of council?
I make the motion that we advertise, solicit bids for the municipal waste services.
I'll second that motion.
Is that Dave?
Any comments or questions?
Yes, I have a, question. Can we, when we're bidding now, can we get?
Nobody can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
thought-
so when we bid out, can we get bids to also have a separate line for the, that are recyclable?
It's in there.
Under,
It's already in there.
I see that, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Any other further comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on resolution 2024-01 in support of Pennsylvania Underground Protection Law proclaiming April 2024 as Pennsylvania Safe Digging Month.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All those in,
Mr. Goffel?
oh, no, this is the resolution, right? So we can do
Mr. Goffel?
Yes, sorry.
Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr.
deliberation and or official action on employment status of police officer badge number 42.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this until after executive session.
Second.
Any comments
Who's
or
badge
questions?
42?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay.
That motion carries. Do we have any correspondence?
No, sir.
I need an approval to pay the bills.
I will make that
Make
motion.
it. I'll second it.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Make a motion, we move to executive session.
I'll second it.
Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Executive session.
It's easier to get done. Three.
Okay.
Make a motion, we go back into regular session.
Comments,
Seconded, Ted.
Ted. Comments, questions? Do I say it before the vote? Do I say it before the vote?
No, you can get back in and then say.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. We were in executive session for personnel discipline and litigation. Okay, so just bear with me a second, Jim. The only thing we have to go back to is E, correct, 15E?
Correct.
Okay, so discussion and or deliberation and or official action on employment status of police office badge number 42.
I'd like to
What-
make a motion to table.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Citizen comments? Jerry Lewis?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. That's it.